welcome back to my Millennial Theramom YouTube page, our online community. I'm really excited today for y'all to hear from Kim Richards, founder of Caring for Mama. I was just sharing with her how when I spoke to her about her product, I just really appreciated how much the focus is on remembering that moms are going through this process and they have needs and they're recovering. And though I love my baby girl so much, I'm also learning that like I need to love myself just as much so I can love her. So she'll share a little bit more about what she does, but can you introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do, who you are?
Yeah, so great to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me to join you in the conversation. I think, like I was just sharing with you too, these conversations are so important. Building community and sharing different aspects of how we're supporting each other in the work that we're doing as moms and as a lot of times as practitioners too, right? I know you're talking
Mhm.
to a lot of practitioners, but anyway, yes, I'm Kim Richards. I recently founded Caring for Mama. I am the mom of two little girls, 2 and 5, and ever since having my girls, I knew that I wanted to get involved in caring for mama, which is exactly why I named the business
Mhm.
Caring for Mama. I I will say I suffered pretty bad both times with postpartum depression. Um, and it was basically undiagnosed, I would
Mhm.
say. So I walked into postpartum not knowing what to expect either time, really.
Mhm.
And and so it's just the journey that we're all on as mothers, as parents, as caregivers. There is no manual for this. You
Mhm.
can't. No matter what people tell you, you can't be prepared. So I knew that doing this type of work would be really important because I felt like there were a lot of things that I needed and I didn't know what that was.
Mhm.
So having something like Caring for Mama, where I'm curating care packages that are just for moms. So I source products from women owned businesses. A lot of them are here in San Diego where I'm based, but now I'm starting to source from all over because there's just amazing women owned businesses with products that you wouldn't find just anywhere. And all the products are just for the woman. So no, we love our babies, but there's
Mhm.
no onesies, no teethers,
Mhm.
no little blankets or anything. It's really to feed the mom's mind, body, and soul, basically. And and that's my mission is to let or really remind us moms that our needs do matter. Self care isn't a dirty word. Self care can
Mhm.
mean many things.
Mhm.
It's not selfish. It's actually a necessity. And we need to allow ourselves that space, even if it's a few minutes here, 10 minutes there, just reminding us to slow down and take
Mhm.
care of ourselves so that we can take better care of everyone around us.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I launched in July, and here we are in October, and
Oh, yeah.
it's very exciting. So
Yeah, I feel like I knew that timeline, but I'm just it's just now clicking. I'm like, it's like a newborn.
it is a newborn. I've
Yes.
got my third baby, and
Yeah.
she's very demanding.
Oh yes. I totally feel you with that. Millennial Theramom. She's about 8 months old. So, but that's exciting. And I do appreciate that because I do think that self-care, especially the way that sometimes it's thrown out or marketed, is very like you need to indulge in
Mm,
this like bath or retreat. And I think I am learning as a 10 and a half months postpartum mom, like when I just take some time and journal, when I like
mm.
write to my inner child, when I read a book, when I watch Oprah, like that's all it feeds my soul and I feel good. And that's self-care for me. So I do think it's just like rewriting the narrative of what does it look like to just tend to your needs, especially when the to-do list will be never ending. Like it's just that's just life, right? But it's like, okay, how do we put in some time to take care of ourselves?
Yeah, I love that you said that because I mean, it could be, taking a few minutes to walk outside and put your feet in the grass, to take
Mhm.
your shoes off and just feel the earth underneath your feet,
Mhm.
or to stop. Sometimes I'll just stop and like put my hand on my
Mhm.
chest and just take some slow, deep breaths, like
Yeah.
even three of them. It's amazing
Mhm.
how much it just calms your nervous system and relaxes the body, and you don't have to move. I mean, moving is good. I try to get up a little more too, but But yeah,
Mhm.
I hear it more and more about this idea that self-care is like bad or something, or it's becoming a dirty word. So I think that's part of my mission
Yeah.
is to reclaim that as a good word, as an
Yeah.
important piece of our lives as parents,
Mhm.
uh, and also that it doesn't have to be something.
Mm. Yeah, and I think even as you say that, like I feel like I've been trying to like just ask the question why a lot more. Like, I actually read the book Matrescence, which I know that you
Mm.
include
Oh, good.
in one of your packages or in all of
Hmm.
them. And I think she just does a beautiful job at really breaking down like this process of becoming a mother and
Yeah.
also questioning like why is it that things are like this? Who told us this story? Like, why does it have to be like that? And even when you said that, it made me think of like, why is self-care a bad word? Like, why is someone taking care of themselves like this thing is like, ooh, you're being selfish or whatever. It's like, have we gone that far away from like who we are as humans? Like, we're not just meant to produce and give out all day long. Like,
Yeah.
why is it bad? So I love that, just changing.
Yeah, the societal, I think that's what I was going to say too, is that it's kind of just ingrained in us. It's what we're absorbing subconsciously day to
Mhm.
day. Uh, and also just the system in general, I've been saying
Mhm.
for a long time, I saw a quote or, a post on Instagram recently, and it was like women receive approximately 700 minutes of care while pregnant
Mhm.
and approximately 30 minutes postpartum. And I still
Yeah.
can't wrap my mind around that. So just the system in general, the society in general is not really caring for mama,
Mhm.
certainly not postpartum. And so I think there is this groundswell of activity and
Mhm.
support and women who are rising up and finding ways to contribute and give back and create that culture of care. That's what I've been talking a lot
Mhm.
about, is this culture of care and getting it back, because that's not how we weren't meant to do this alone. So that's kind of the underlying drive of this work. The care packages are a really important tangible thing that people
Mhm.
can receive, and it's beautiful, and it like helps kind of find those pockets of self-care.
Mhm.
But really it's this bigger kind of societal
Yeah.
trend that I would love to see shift
Yeah.
back to being in community again, and really
Mhm.
honoring women and supporting us in a better way postpartum.
Yeah, yeah, like it's like a tangible representation of the
Yeah.
mission. So
Yeah.
how would you explain like the origin story of
Hmm.
taking care of mama?
Well, like I said, when I first had my
Mhm.
older daughter, Julia, in 2018, yes. And going through that shocking,
Mhm.
my matrescence and
Mhm.
becoming a mother, it was so, turned me upside down.
Mhm.
And I almost got into something. I think it was like someone was writing a book, and I was already starting to explore doing this work in some form in 2018. And then the pandemic happened, and
Mhm.
all the things transpired from there. And so when I had my second daughter, Clara, in 2022, uh, it was sort of set at that point,
Mhm.
because I had so many similar experiences. Even though I had been a mom, I'd gone through it before, but
Mhm.
every pregnancy, every birth, every
Mhm.
child is so unique. So like it was still challenging, right?
Yeah.
And so once my little one went to daycare early this year, I thought, okay, this is my time. Like I either go try to get a full-time job again, which
Mhm.
is not really in the cards for me, or I go for it again. I go
Mhm.
out to entrepreneurship again. And the package idea really wasn't my initial
Mhm.
thought. It was more like, how am I going to support? But it was still pretty open-ended. And then I started gifting friends packages, just like gift bags, basically full
Mhm.
of products that I loved postpartum. And I tell the story of my neighbor, Jess, and she tells it too all the time.
Mhm.
Is when I gifted her, she messaged me later that day and was like, "Oh my gosh, Kim, thank you so much. I feel so seen and cared
Mhm.
for." And I literally had whole body
Mhm.
chills. It was like a light bulb kind of like, oh, moment.
Mhm.
And it just all made sense to me. It's exactly how I would have wanted her to feel receiving it, but I didn't anticipate it. I was just giving out of love, out of my heart, and like
Mhm.
wanting to really care for her, but I had no idea that she would receive it like that. And so that's really the turning point for me, where I thought, like that actually there could be something here. And so then I started exploring opportunities for just like wholesale pricing here, what options were here, looking at box
Mhm.
options. And I mean, I've never been in the product business, but I have
Mhm.
run a business before. So I just started running with it, and here I am. And
Yeah,
it's
I
been a lot.
love that. Yeah, I've really been like my journaling time. That's been my sacred time, but really learning more about like this process of being an entrepreneur and what will keep your fire alive, right? Especially because there's a lot of pieces of running a business that could be not fun or could be anxiety provoking, but like it sounds like this like alignment with like this is what I really want to put out into the world. And just like when you feel that like sunshine in your heart, I don't know how else to
Mhm.
explain it, right? And it's like, oh, this, I'm gonna follow this. And it sounds like you just been like you pulled the thread and you're walking it. So
Yeah, it's
exciting.
a good way to put it. I feel like it just, when you're in alignment with what you're meant to do, with you could say your soul's purpose,
Mhm.
that intuitive voice that either we hear it or, either we pay attention to it or not,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm starting to pay much more attention to it. I'm listening. And as I follow those threads, like you're saying, pulling those threads,
Mhm.
every step I take, it keeps opening up, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's
And
pretty.
there's pivoting that's a part of it too, which I think is a cool part when I think a lot of us are, it's kind of a side tangent, but a lot of us are indoctrinated, like you get the degree and then you do this and then you
Mm.
work here and then you climb the ladder. And then we have people who are miserable in full-time jobs because it doesn't allow for that, okay, like my heart is really passionate about this right now, and then maybe I'm going to pivot and go this way and pivot and go that way, and really allowing us like to step into like I call it purpose, but I know everyone has different words for it, so I think that's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, I would say too, but there's a lot of women now having children and either burning out at their corporate jobs, or getting laid off. I mean, it's happening a lot, unfortunately. And so there is this new space being created for women and mom entrepreneurs like us, who are following our purpose and following our passion. And that's what that groundswell I was talking about earlier, where when you're out here doing this work, you start to feel like, wow, there's a lot of momentum and a lot of a positive momentum happening, which really encourages me, because it can feel when you're early postpartum, or when you're navigating motherhood, and it can feel really isolating if you don't have your community around you. It can feel like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? It can just feel overwhelming. But I will say I'm very encouraged by all of the amazing resources that are available now, community groups that are popping up, and yeah,
Yeah,
we're in a much better place right
yes, we'll keep making progress in that end.
now.
So can you share a little bit more about like what is typically part of your package or what you have right now?
Yes. So right now I've got three different care packages. So everyone likes options. We've got the Nourish, Rejuvenate, and Unwind boxes. So they're sort of themed out based on the type of products that are included, but every box has something to consume. So either like an herbal tea, or a hormone balancing snack bar. There's also like topical items. So we have some herbalist made, like handmade soaps with an herbalist, for example, here in San Diego. She grows her herbs and makes her soaps,
Oh,
and
oh,
it's
mm,
very special. And creams for sleep, for example, a magnesium cream for sleep, which is really wonderful. So there's like the topical things, there's things to consume, and then there's also things for the environment. So we've got a candle, we've got a shower spray.
mm,
So it feels like you're getting a spa experience
mhm,
just by spraying in your shower. And, so easy, accessible ways to feel good, and to help relax the mind, body, and spirit. I do also have an illustrative journal from a local illustrator here in
Mhm.
San Diego. It's just beautiful. So it's like part book with like sayings and mantras and space to actually journal. And I'm a huge journaler myself. So that was really special for me to include in there because there are, again, all different types of aspects of self-care. Not, some people will really get a lot out of sipping on the Sanity herbal blend from Green
Mhm.
Heffa Farms, while others will get a lot out of lighting the candle and, journaling
Yeah,
um, journaling at the end of the day. So it just
yeah,
sort of, my intention is for it to at least something to really resonate with each woman who receives the packages.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's like whatever access point into like receiving that rest and care.
Exactly.
And you're right. I feel like we have to dibble dabble sometimes. Like maybe for some people it's like podcasting, reading, journaling, candles, a bath. Like I kind of learned I used to be a big bath person and then I'm like, I don't think I'm a bath person anymore. And just like being okay with that, right? It's like, okay, now I'm gonna do this. So yeah, helping people explore a little bit.
Yeah, or trying new things, and maybe sometimes they give a product that they're not going to use to another mom friend, and in
Yeah.
that way, I love it too because I have a big give back component to the business, which is pay it forward. Every box that's received, there's a discount code to then pay it forward to someone else.
Mhm.
And then also donating to local nonprofits is really important to me too, because not every woman is going to
Mhm.
have access. So these really are intended for every mother, as it says
Mhm.
on my website. And I take that to heart. So,
Awesome.
um, yeah.
I love that. Thank you. So let's say there's somebody else on the other side of the screen, either pregnant or postpartum. What words of wisdom would you want to make sure that they knew or want to leave with them?
So many,
Mhm.
but I will say in the theme of caring for mama and what we've been talking about, it is really that that it's okay and actually necessary to take time for yourself, whatever that means for you. Um, if you need to block it out on your calendar because you're a
Mhm.
calendar person, if you need to let your partner or your family know that you're going to take this 30 minutes or this hour, like whatever you need to do to protect that time and that space, like just do it. Even if you have questions in your brain or you're worried about what someone might think or say, I
Mhm.
think just really prioritizing that from the beginning is super important. And and then I would also say to try to release a little bit of control. That's something that I'm continuing to learn
Mhm.
myself, is that we like to know what's happening at every point,
Mhm.
and we follow all the
Mhm.
milestones of our children, and are they on track, are they,
Mhm.
what do I need to do? And so I think I'd also just advise to try to let go of some of that stress, because the fact, someone said recently, if you're worried about it, then you don't have to worry about doing it well, because just by the fact that you're worrying means that you care. You're
Mhm.
doing just fine.
Yeah.
So I think if we can try to like release a little bit of that, as parents, we'll be a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that. I think that control is my go-to when I'm feeling anxious. So
It's
just being,
fun. Mhm.
yeah, so being really aware of like, okay, what am I trying to control in the situation and why? And maybe what do I really just need some like a time to go hike? Like, what would that time look like, right? If I wasn't stressed and worrying,
Right.
to actually care for
Yeah.
myself.
Maybe it's just like when we feel those feelings of overwhelm, and like I've got to, it's a common response, right, to feeling overwhelmed. You try to lock in what you do have control
Mhm.
over. So that's just like a normal instinct, I think.
Yeah,
But I think in those moments of like when we feel like we're gripping, kind of like white knuckling in situations, if we
yeah,
just, okay, you know,
yeah, yeah.
let it go. Like even a mantra to say, let it go. I've been saying
Mhm.
that to myself lately. And
Yeah, like
whether I do
embrace.
or not, just like hearing it and like
Yeah.
hearing it for yourself. it's kind of
Yeah.
like permission in a way.
Yeah. And if you need to sing it, let it go.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
Oh, maybe that's what it
Elsa.
is. I hear, yeah, I've got
Elsa.
Frozen girls at home. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Embrace the Elsa. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And yes, I definitely agree. I just posted something about time boundaries and how like really blocking out those times of this is when my non-negotiable, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna meditate, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna work out. Like that not only helps you, but the rest of your family. Because when you get your needs met, then you show up more fully present and not as irritable. So it's like it helps everybody for us to have those boundaries so we
Yeah.
don't build a resentment and anger. Awesome. So how can people be in contact with you or your services in general?
Well, I'm on caringformama.co, caringformama.co, and same thing on Instagram. So, I have my hello@caringformama.co email that's easy to reach me directly. And you'll find everything on the site as well. So the packages, what's included in them, a little bit more about the story and all of that. And yeah, I'm looking at lots of different ways of expanding the business and always looking for collaborators and always interested in meeting new women-owned businesses that, product developers. So um, yeah, I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. So I would love to hear from anyone who wants to share a recommendation or feedback or
Awesome.
opportunities for collaboration.
Okay, I'll be putting like your contact information around this video. So y'all definitely reach out if you know somebody who's coming up on the postpartum period,
That's right.
get them a package. If you are somebody in the postpartum period, you can get yourself a package
That's
too.
right. It doesn't just have to be a gift. It can be a gift for yourself. That's the ultimate, self-care.
Yeah,
You gift
yeah.
yourself. But yeah, and I do, since I said I'm here in San Diego, I do have free local pickup in San Diego, but I do ship across the United States. So I have people purchasing for friends and family across the states as well. So that's
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself, your passion, and your products with us. So I hope that people reach out. Yeah, thank you.
thank you so much. It was so nice to talk with you.
Nice to